So yesterday we were talking about the advanced report, and in that advanced report, most of the configurations we learned. The last portion, that is the advanced tab, which I had to explain. So let's talk about from there. So you don't have any if you don't have any question, I'm just proceeding with next configurations.
Yes, Ganesh, yeah, I can.
Okay, this one. Yeah. So yesterday I created and I was discussing something in advanced tab, and then suddenly I had to leave. I'm continuing from there. Let me just open in edit mode. So yesterday I told you how to save the parameters, right? Like if you have to test any report, and if you have to run the reports multiple times, then every time you don't need to pass parameters manually, you can save the parameters as well. To save that, there is an option enable save parameters. When you check this checkbox, it will give you option to save the parameters while running the report. So once you save that, next time when you open the report, try to run that. You will be able to use your saved parameters, and then when you will select it, it is simply going to fill the parameters, and you will be able to execute. Okay. Now the next important thing we have here is this portion, web service or web services option. This is actually very important. So web services option is, so let's say there is a custom report which you have created as advanced type. So I'm just mentioning advanced custom report. Currently, this advanced custom report is just a report. I mean, you can schedule this report in Workday, but this is just going to extract the data. You cannot use this report as a web service. So to use a advanced custom report as a web service, we need to enable web service. So when you enable web service, it will be called as RAS. Okay, RAS means report as a service. Now this is going to act as a REST API. Okay, in REST API, what do we have? Basically, you will be having URL, and then you will be having credentials. Okay, so here also, when I enable this report as a web service, okay, then you will see some sort of changes in the columns tab. So, uh, to enable a report, advanced report as a web service, you need to select this checkbox. Once you select this checkbox, this report will be enabled as a web service. And when this report will be enabled as a web service, it will give you web service API version. The current version is 44.0. This is what it is giving. You can select old versions as well. But whenever you create anything in Workday, always you try to select the latest version. Okay, automatically it is going to select latest version. Then this is the namespace which is used to identify the report. Okay, we will talk about namespace more when we will talk about the XSLTs and all. Okay, so this is names. Now this report has been web service enabled. Once I enable this report as a web service, when you go to the column tab, right now you don't see, but when I click, it is going to give me error. So the error is group column heading must be specified for all subgroups. This means here you can see I have used primary business object and related business object. So whatever, when you enable any advanced report as a web service and you are using any business object other than primary business object, you will have to define that business object in the group column heading. Okay. So to define in group column heading, you need to click on plus. it will create a row and it will give you all the options, all the related business object which you have used in the report. So if I just search, click on this, it is going to give me dependents because I have used just one dependence. Okay. If you have multiple business related business object used in the report, then you need to add all those in separate lines. You need to click, you need to create more rows, and then you would need to add. Now, once I defined the related business object in group column heading, when I click on OK, the report will be saved. And automatically one more column will be generated here. Now here you can see earlier there was no column heading override XML alias. There was nothing like this. But when I enable report as a web service, you have additional column stating column heading override XML alias. So why, what is this and how this is being used? So basically, now let's talk about a bit of web services. So web services are actually a transmitter between multiple systems over the internet. So over the internet, when you transfer, when you deliver the data, when you transmit the data, it generally, you deliver data in some sort of format like XML, JSON, okay, XML file, JSON file, and from the data, from the web services request and response, if you need to identify any field, those are XML alias, those are attributes basically. Okay, so what I'm trying to sh talk about is, let me show you once. Yeah. So this is a report data in web service. So whatever you show in the Excel format or the tabular format when we run the report, this is the same data when it is extracted in XML format. So when you enable any advanced report as a web service, and when someone try to get data from that REST API, the data they will get the data in this format. Okay, if you give him XML for XML URL, if you give JSON URL, then it is going to show in some different format. Okay, in JSON format. Probably I am having JSON format as well. So this is how JSON format looks like. It's a similar data, but the formatting is different. Okay. Now, if you see in this JSON data or the XML data, there are some tags. See, employee ID, first name. These are actually XML alias which is configured in the report. If anyone wants to read data from this XML file, the data will be that they can read data using these tag names only. Okay. So this is what this is how. Sorry,
Ganesh,
any question?
yes, Ganesh. Ganesh,
Yep.
to get to know this format, so do we have to learn anything separately?
I mean this format, like what is this tag names and all?
Yeah, yeah. Why? Because we are completely from the finance background.
Yeah, okay. So basically, you're not technical. I
Yeah.
understand that. One thing you can refer at this point of time, okay, before I go into XSLT and I explain further. Anyways, I'm gonna explain basics of this XML, in a very high level. But one thing, one website is there which you can refer, okay, and that is going to help you, and that will even help me to teach you, okay. So there is one website. I think you are not technical, so maybe you might not have heard about this. There is a w3schools.com. Whenever anyone wants to learn web designing, HTML, CSS, they used to refer this site. Okay, so here you just need to open this. You want to learn XML, you simply go to XML. It's not a very big tutorial, it's very simple tutorial. Okay, and everything you will be able to see, like what is node, what is attribute, what is element. Okay, everything you will be able to see. It will be very just one line, two line description, and they will give you here some sample as well. Even you can try when you try XML. When we will talk about the XSLT, if you want to just try in this one, you will be having editor as well. You can try in this site as well. Okay, so let's say this one. There is one try it yourself button. When you click on this, it will open in another window. Here it will give you, it will show you the XML, then, whatever coding is required, it will show you. You will be able to even practice. And when you write any code, then you can execute. If you modify this code, you can execute and you can see the output as well. Okay, so slightly this is different. I mean, we generally don't create HTML format in Workday. Okay, but this is a good site where you can start from. At least this part, XML, home, what is XML, what is elements, attribute, namespaces, and all.
Okay, gosh. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so you can start referring to that, and we will maybe when I will talk about the XSLT. Anyways, I'm gonna explain you at a very high level, but I would request you go to this site and just try to understand the syntaxes, understand the uh, this attribute, what is attribute, what is element, all these things, terminologies. Okay, and if you understand, if you find difficulty in understanding this thing, you can let me know. Maybe we will talk about that once you explore this website. Okay.
okay. Gosh.
Yep. Okay. So cool. Now here, as I created this advanced report earlier, and at that point of time, I did not enable this report as a web service, and I am enabling report this as a web service now. So by default, Workday has generated this XML alias names. Now, if you want to edit this XML alias names, you will be able to do that as well. So when you go to advanced report, related action, and then edit, see, you see some this column heading override XML alias is an editable format, right? So now you can edit whatever name you want to. So whatever name you're going to add here, same thing will be generated in the XML. Okay, so this is the main part of the advanced report. And this is how you will not be able to use any report in integration if you have not enabled that report as a web service. So to use reports in integration, you have to enable this report as a web service. Okay, so this is important one. Now in this one, the next important is just temporary report, which we have already talked about. When you select this checkbox, this report becomes temporary and it will assign some sort of indent. You can edit that indent, and then you can transform the temporary report into permanent report as well by unchecking this checkbox. Okay, so these are the main features we are going to use in the advanced report. Okay, now I showed you how to get XML data, how to get, sorry, I showed you XML data and JSON data, but how exactly we used to get the data? Okay, so let's talk about that a bit. Yep. So now this report is enabled as a web service. I want web service URLs. So, I mean, if someone is asking, let's say you have enabled this report as a web service, and there is another system, Power BI, sitting, at another corner. Now, Power BI is asking, like, you send me the report URL, the RAS URL. I'm gonna consume data from Workday. Okay. Then how will you share the data? How will you share the URL? What URL you are going to share? Okay. So that is something you can explore when you go to the related action. In the last, you see there is a web service. When you click on this web service in view URL, just click on view URL. When you click, it will give you some options like in which format you want the data. Now here it is asking to pass some parameters. Here the saved parameters will not work. Okay, so whatever parameter, I mean you just try to put minimum parameters, try to get minimum data while you are fetching the web service. So I'm mentioning again Logan McNeil, Jacqueline. Once you enter the parameter, click on OK. Yeah, now see, when you click on OK, it is showing you the parameter which you have passed. then it is showing you multiple formats. Okay, it is showing you Workday XML, Simple XML, XSD, WSDL, XSD. Then here you can see CSV option, you can see RSS option, Google Data option, then JSON option. Now, if let's say your downstream system is asking for JSON URL, what you do is you just click right click, do the right click on this one. You will see two option. So just don't copy the text, you copy the URL. When you copy the URL, then the URL will look like this. Let me do word wrap. Yep. So your URL will look like this. Okay. So basically, this is a Workday, Workday endpoint. Then this is the report name. And in this report name, whatever parameters I have passed, these are the parameters. Okay. I have passed worker types and then I passed worker with not basically this worker type is equal to employee. So there is a concept of with, I mean integration ID that will come after a few days. I'm going to explain that. So basically in worker type you can see whatever after question mark, these are the parameters. Okay, and in the last you can see the format is equal to JSON. That means this web service is going to generate data in JSON format. Now if you need XML data, let's say Power BI system is asking for the XML data, you just click on copy URL, paste. Okay. Now here this is going to generate data in XML. By default, this is going to generate data in XML. Okay. So this is what we share with the downstream system so that they can use this report as a web service and they can consume data from Workday. So apart from this web service, you have to create create ISU and password. ISU is basically integration system user. And then password is the password normal thing which you know. So what is ISU? We are going to talk about this ISU when we are going to create integration, but at a high level the ISU means like you and me. See, you have a you have a real account in Workday. Okay, your name exists, your profile exists. Similarly, we can create virtual accounts in Workday, and those virtual accounts will be used only to retrieve limited data, access limited data, perform limited actions. Okay, whatever permission you're going to give. Okay, so why we do that? So let's say, any one of you, let's say you have created one integration, and when you created integration, you will be able to access data by your ID and password. You will be able to access data from these URLs. Even when you schedule integration, you will be able to access data. Now, let's say you have created one integration and you have a scheduled that integration to run every day at 6 p.m. IST. Okay, so that integration is running by your ID every day 6 p.m. IST, which is fine. You are controlling your whatever security assigned to you, that security is controlling that integration run. Now, let's say one day you decided to leave the company and you have created that integration 3 years back. Now, you don't even remember what are the integrations you have created and you decided to leave the company. Okay, someone else is taking over. Now, you got terminated, your profile got terminated. So, when your profile got terminated, the integration is still running by your ID and your ID has got terminated. So, what will happen to the integration? That integration will not be able to identify anything in the tenant as your ID doesn't have any access now. So that's why, this is a cool feature of Workday. Whatever we create in Workday, we don't assign to any particular individual. We create ISUs so that there will not be any kind of dependency on anyone. You create integration, but when you are scheduling the integration, you schedule with the ISU so that even whenever you want to leave, you just leave. Okay, I mean there is nothing need to worry about the integration run and all. Okay, so that's a kind of virtual account. Okay, how exactly that is being created, we will talk later. There are certain steps we used to create for integration system user and security group. Any question, guys?
Yes, Krishna.
Yes, go on.
Usually, so when creating this integration, also Like
Hmm.
you said, I will set a time for it for weekly run or daily run.
Yes,
So,
yes.
is anyone manually has to put the ISU and password for run it?
So basically, how it works is, let's say you have integration, you have created one EIB integration INT001. Okay. Now, when you created this integration, now that the requirement is that integration should execute every day at 6 p.m. IST and deliver the file. Okay. When you are going to schedule integration, you are going to assign the ownership of the schedule to the ISU. Even you are going to add workday account in the integration with that ISU. Okay, so what will happen? It will be entire. I mean, you can understand in this way. Now the integration is owned by ISU. The schedule is owned by ISU.
Yeah. So it's my one-time work, right?
Yes, yes, yes. One time work. So basically, it's not every time you have to do. When you create, when you deploy integration, you schedule at that point of time, and it's just one time job. You don't need to worry about the other day. Automatically, it is going to be executed like that. Clear? Or you
Yes.
didn't understand?
Yeah, yeah, fine.
Okay, so basically it's like scheduling you are doing once. Okay, whatever time they will ask you, you are going to schedule that integration report just once. I'm gonna show you how to schedule that integration. Once I create one integration, first integration, then I'll show you how exactly we schedule and how that works. Okay, so don't worry about that. That will get clarified. Okay. Okay, so now we have learned about the web service, the JSON and uh, enable report as a web service and all. So this is all about a custom report in Workday. Now you can try creating advanced report, enable report as a web service. Try some manipulation. Try adding more fields, more related business object, more related business object fields, and then you just explore this thing. Okay,
Uh,
so.
um, Ganesh,
Yep.
while explaining about the XML format and the JSON format,
Mhm.
uh, will you also explain about the CSV, RSS, DD data and all?
CSV, see, we generally see if anyone is asking for us, they are going to ask you either JSON or Workday XML. Okay, but if you want to explore, you
Okay.
can simply just click on this. You will be having CSV file. So it is asking username and password. I don't have Jacqueline's profile username and password. For that, I need to create ISU. Otherwise, I would have shown that. So what will happen is I have created on this CSV link, right? So when I clicked on this, this is asking for username and password. Once I enter username and password and click on sign in, automatically CSV format, CSV file with the data will be downloaded on my device. So they can use CSV as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So maybe, let me show you one thing. If I have any ISU, I mean, that topic is actually in further sessions, but, let's see at a high level so that, you get some kind of images in your brain. So, uh, what I have created in the past. Uh, Gender, date of birth. Okay, so dependents are not added. So I'm using this ISU. I have created one more report, right? And enable as to convert it as advanced report. Let me use that report. This ISU is going to work there. I'll be able to show you guys. So view custom report. Come on. So when you are learning, integration, technical stuff, Somewhere even though Workday is a configuration based, most of the things are configurable, but still, somewhere, uh, you know, yeah, technical things will come, this coding and all. This is advanced. This many field. Okay, let me enable this as a web service. You already have tenant access, right? I mean, in your wherever you are working.
Yeah, we have Ganesh. We
Yes.
have sandbox with us.
Okay, so you can try
But
something. I mean,
no,
that tenant will be
actually,
But
we don't
fast.
have
but the problem is,
admin access. We are end
uh,
users.
Oh, okay, okay. You are okay, so you don't have access to create reports and all.
yes, yes.
Yes.
That's a challenge. So when you need to run any integration with ISU, you need to provide permission of that report to the ISU so that ISU should be able to run that. Which one is mine? I'm adding all. Batch 3 simple EIB. Okay. Now, okay. It did work. Come on. They have not given me access to edit my password, but okay. Sorry, guys, just give me one more minute. Oh, 20 characters. Oh my God. Let me write down the password. Is so generally, 20 characters is something someone has configured actually in this tenant. That's why It is showing now. What I need to do is add this in the security group. I'm gonna explain these things, anyways in the integration, guys. So don't worry about what I'm doing. Just try to understand. Like now, I'm creating a virtual account. I'm assigning some security to that virtual account. Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. Start proxy. There is option of start proxy. You know what is this start proxy? This is actually, let's say you are configuring things in a tenant and you have configured multiple approvals and you have to test that. So basically you are having just one, your profile only, right? So you will be able to either initiate the transaction, but you will not be able to approve because the approval has been assigned to someone else. So what you can do is whoever person you have assigned the approval, you can just take the proxy and then you can do the stuff. You can approve the transactions just for your testing.
Okay. I have a question here, Ganesh. So with this process access, no, we can only approve the means the only we have the approval access, or we can able to assign the security also.
You assign a security assignment. No, that is something will be controlled by security group.
No, not in
Yeah,
this
sorry.
tenant,
Hmm.
not in the live tenant. I'm asking in this tenant, this training tenant. So if I'm using Logan McNeil, can I
Hmm.
able to assign some other users into
No,
McNeil
no, no.
security?
See, Logan McNeil is a user. I'm proxying her and using her access to do further transactions. Okay, this means this. Now,
Okay.
if you want this level of access to someone else, you
Mm,
will not be able to do because even that will be controlled by security admin only. Okay, so you will not be
mm.
able to assign like that.
Okay, okay.
But you can, if you need to access anything, you can just take her proxy and do whatever stuff you want to do in Workday.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it will be like, let's say here, Dilip and Madhu, for example, let's say Dilip, you are creating integration. Okay,
Mm, mm,
and you have certain level of access just to create integration, but you need
mm,
to configure security and you don't have permission to you don't have access to configure security. Okay, or let's say
mm.
do some transaction, but Madhu is another team member, he is having access. Okay, to do that thing. So what
Yeah.
you are going to do is you create whatever you can create by your ID, just do that. Once that is done, you take the proxy of Madhu and do rest of the things.
Okay. But initially, when we are given the tenant, no,
Hmm.
we are only able to proxy the two users, Logan McNeil and some other access. Only the two users we can able to proxy. So, for
When
example,
you
if
hmm.
I want to proxy Satish access, no, I can't do it. Only I can access Madhu's access. That's why that's as discussion. I think they
So
have.
yeah, they might have put some sort of restriction, limitation. That's why
Mm,
you can't, you could not do that. But generally, it's like, see, ideally, team member access we generally don't take. Let's say you are an integration person, there is someone absence person, and there is another one time tracking person. Now you want to
mm,
do something in a time tracking, okay?
mm, mm,
Then it's based on configuration. Like you cannot take proxy of each and every one in Workday. Okay,
mm,
it is the security admin who will give you the access. Like you can take the proxy access of this person. Okay,
mm,
or let's say some business person, if you want to take proxy of some business person, benefits admin, time admin, you will be able to do that. If there is someone with
mm.
implementer profile, you will not be able to take access of
Okay.
implementer. You will not be able to take access of security admin.
Okay.
Okay, so those are the restrictions we have here. Okay.
Okay.
Now I created a new ISU. I'm sharing this report with that ISU and then I'm gonna show you running. Now we are almost there. The problem is tenant is slow. ISU batch 4. Now I'm going and getting the URL because this is a different report. The URL which we copied, that was from different report. View URLs. Let's say here employee worker type. I'm just saying employee. Click OK. Now CSV, if you want to see, I'm copying the URL and I'm trying this in incognito mode. I have entered. Now it is going to ask me the ISU for, this is the ISU name and the password. Let me copy. See, now CSV file is getting downloaded. Okay, it's a CSV file has been downloaded. So this is how it works. Now let me show you XML or JSON. Anyone? Let's say you want to see, for example, JSON. Let me try JSON. Come on. Copy URL. I have entered password once in this browser. It's not going to ask password again. It will download the JSON as well. See, the JSON has been downloaded as well. Now you can open the JSON and say this is the data. Okay. Now XML, if you want XML, XML will be shown in the browser directly. Let me try that as well. This is how XML looks like, from the web service. So your report is working as a web service. When you're trying to get data, in form of web service like in XML, this is how you will get. Clear?
Yes, Ganesh.
Okay. Anything you want to ask in this one?
No, no, Ganesh. It's clear.
Okay. Okay. So all good. Then this is, what is custom report. Okay. Now we are going to use this custom report in integrations. That's why we learned. And I hope now you understand the difference between simple report and advanced report. There are a lot of features we have in advanced report, which is not in simple report. So I would say you create one simple report and advanced report and try to figure out some comparisons. Okay. The document which has been shared in that one also you will find, but try to identify the differences by yourself first, then you go to the document. Okay. So now we have completed almost the report configurations and all. There are a couple of more things which you can explore by yourself. Okay. And you are having document, you can take the reference. If there's anything you would need, just let me know. Okay. I'm gonna explain that. Now the next thing we have to talk about is calculated field.
Ganesh, before that, so we
Hmm.
have a doubt in our regular process. Okay, so, like in one of the norm area and
Hmm.
reports, like we used to give the we used to give the ledger account numbers. Okay,
Hmm.
like for example, I hope you are aware of the transaction listings or trial balances.
I'm a SCM person, and
HCM.
that is
Okay.
actually a finance one, but that's fine. Report is report.
Yeah, yes. So in one of the field, like I try to copy from Excel
Hmm.
uh, 10 different ledger accounts or 10 different employee ID,
Hmm.
and I try to paste it in one field.
Hmm.
It is possible to take all the 10 in one field, or I have to copy and paste one by one.
Okay, okay. So basically, let's say, the way I was running the report and I was entering two-person name. Let's say, the worker. If you remember, just before some time, I was entering Logan McNeil and Jacqueline
Mm,
in the
mm,
parameters and I was running the report. Now, so basically, you want to understand. So instead of adding those one by one, is there any way we can add multiple?
Yes, at the single shot.
Yes. So I mean there is possibility of doing that. But that is something you can do via employee ID, or laser number. If you want, you can do via laser number, or the username. We can do that. I'm not gonna show you today, but definitely, because that is a different, there is a different kind of configuration. Uh, I have done so many configurations like that, but I need to just check once, whatever I did in the past, and I'm gonna show you. Generally, nobody asked this question, but you have raised a very good question. This is a common problem which even in HCM people are facing, and they don't know whether we can do this or not. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how that works. Okay, so just remind me next week. I'm gonna show you this. Okay, it's not a difficult thing. We just have to configure the filter in a way so that it can accept the text value separated by comma or any
Yeah,
other
exactly.
separated.
So exactly like we used to do it in SAP or in previous ERP tools, but in here Workday, when we try to ask our internal Workday support team, so they have refused that there is no option on that. So that's why we wanted to check with you.
So it will not be an option for each and every field, but definitely for number field, or for let's say employee ID, user ID, for those
Mm,
fields we have that option. Okay,
yeah, because
so
it's all unique IDs now, so that's why. Yeah.
yeah, so I'll show you. Okay, I'll show you. Don't worry, I'll show you that one how to do that. Okay, you
Okay.
will be
Yeah.
able to configure that thing. So
Yeah.
I'm making a
Thanks.
note that as well. Check, apply multiple values in filter at once. So I'm gonna show you this one. Okay, so that's fine. Let me check and I'll show you. Okay, any other question before I start calculated fields?
No, Ganesh, good to go.
Okay, so now today, with the interest of time, let's just understand the basics of calculated field. What is calculated field? Why do we use calculated field in the tenant? Okay, so calculated field, it's widely used, a thing in Workday. So basically, how it works is Workday has given you some delivered fields. Okay, so let's say Workday has given you 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 fields, delivered fields. Now you are not able to accomplish everything. You're not able to get everything using those fields. Okay. And you want some manipulation. Like someone asks, if I want to extract the first character of the first name, how can I do that? Okay. That's a manipulation of the Workday delivered field. There is Workday delivered field which is already storing the value of name, but you don't want that value. You want the single character of that value. Okay, so what you are trying to do is you are trying to extract a portion of the string. So if you need to do that, yes, there is a possibility in Workday. We do that using calculated field. So the definition you can understand, like deriving values from the delivered fields. That is what is calculated field. Okay, so calculated field, the main thing you can understand in this way, like whenever you need to do data calculations. You can do this in arithmetic calculation, it will be used.
Ganesh, can you repeat what you said, like the deriving values?
So deriving values from the delivered field. So let's say this one, deriving values from delivered fields by putting some logic. It's not a definition. It's just a, you understand, like you have, 1,000 delivered fields, and you have to put some logic, and you want, that field to be manipulated. Basically, you're deriving some value from the existing value. Okay, so that is what is calculated field. Okay, now let's say convert, derive, Boolean, true, false. If you want to check, like let's say a person is male or female. Okay, you want to check using one field. You can do that. You can build a calculated field and it will give you yes or no. Okay. Then, sum, count, aggregate, then lookups. Lookups are like, you pass something, you provide something, and it will return you something. That is what lookup. So all these things are possible using calculated fields. Okay. And where exactly we use calculated fields? So mostly we use in reporting, used in reporting, business process, scheduling. For functional people, we use this in creating eligibility. Let's say defining eligibility. Okay, so we are not going to create any kind of eligibility and all. I mean, we are going to create in CCW, but not in functional way. But these are the main areas where we are going to use in calculated field. We can use calculated field in other places as well, but these are the main areas where we are going to use calculated fields. Okay, now there are two kinds of calculated fields.
Can we use in a task also, Manish? Only in reporting, or can we use in task also?
So in task, basically task is defined for one specific purpose, right? So
Okay.
if that task allows you to, just pass some calculated field, you will be, but I don't know any task in which we are passing any calculated field.
Okay.
Okay. So, I mean, in tasks, see, basically, let's say you need to create a custom report. Now, in creating a custom report, you are giving the custom report name, you are giving, the data source name. There is no place where you can use any calculated field, right?
Hmm.
So similarly, let's say you have to create something in Workday, you are creating an organization, supervisory organization, or you're creating a cost centers in Workday. There you will not be having that feature. You will not be in need to use any calculated fields. So mainly the calculated fields are used in configuring those options in the back end. You can say, okay,
Okay.
as a end user, you are not going to use calculated field.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yep, now there are two types of calculated fields in Workday. One is system wide, the another is report specific. Report specific. So, system wide calculated fields can be used anywhere in the system, whereas report specific calculated fields will be used in report only. Okay, so these are the two calculated fields we have. Now the next thing is how to create a system-wide system-wide calculated field, how to create a report-specific calculated field. And when we create a system-wide, we can convert into report-specific. If we create in report-specific, then we can create, convert in system-wide as well. Okay. So to see all the calculated field in the report, you can just use maintain calculated field. You can edit, delete, create from this task as well. Maintain calculated fields. Here, if I go to Workday again, I'm just refreshing. There are 12,303 calculated fields created in this tenant. You can see that some of the calculated fields you can see like there is option of delete. You can edit calculated field as well. Okay. If you need to create a calculated field, then you need to use task create calculated field. Okay, so this task will be used to create calculated field. So basically, if you want to understand what are all the system, what are all the calculated field that has been created in the system, you can use maintain calculated field. Let's say there is any calculated field which has not been used anywhere. Okay, and you want to remove those calculated fields, you can delete this. You will get delete option only when calculated field has not been used in any place. If you are creating any calculated field using anywhere, then you will not get option to delete, but you will always get option to edit calculated field. Okay.
Is there any
Now,
restriction again,
mhm.
Ganesh? Like if
Uh,
I create one calculated field and Dilip wanted to edit it, is it possible?
yes. So basically, if you are creating a calculated field, I am having access. I can edit that as well.
But
So it's not.
based on
Mhm,
my preference, I have created that calculated field, no? So
mhm. So
can't I
no,
put any restriction because no one
no,
can
you
access it?
can't. See, you are not creating calculated field for yourself. You are creating calculated field for some requirement for the system, right? So if let's say you are creating a calculated field and that calculated field will be used somewhere. Okay, you have used, let's say, in integration, or let's say you have used in the report. Now, when you have used in the report, that is fine. Now, let's say another person comes, open that report, and if that person find this calculated field is good for his use also, he can use that calculated field. Okay. Ideally, he should not edit calculated field, although he will be having option to edit the calculated field. You cannot put the restriction, but he should not be editing any calculated field which is existing in the system without doing the impact analysis. The reason is, let's say you have created calculated field, you have used in the report, that report is generating value. The calculated field is generating the value. Now, without letting you know, without doing the impact analysis, if someone else is coming, and then if someone else is editing your calculated field, doing some manipulation and all, that is going to impact your report, right? Because that field has been used in your report.
Yes, exactly. So that is what, like, how we do in the customized report, like in the advanced option, we are restricting the security wise, right?
No, so
So
no, no.
for
So
the same reason,
that security. Okay, okay. So basically, in calculated field, you will not be able to put that restriction. See, the funda is, if someone is having access to these two domains. Okay, I'm just mentioning the domain names. One is custom field management, and the second is private calculated field management. If someone is having access to these two domains, he will be having option to edit any calculated field in the system. You cannot restrict that. Okay, there is no way you can restrict that calculated field. Nobody should be editing and all. The only thing is, the only thing which you can control is, without in anywhere wherever you work and all, without doing impact analysis, nobody should do anything. It's like simple thing. When you work in Java or any other platform, when you have access to edit the code, okay, or let's say a team is having access to edit the code, you are making the changes, other person is also having the access, they can go and edit that, right? It's that simple. And basically, when they are going to edit without doing the impact and analysis, that is a problem. Similarly, in Workday, you will be having access. You can, if you want to edit, always do the impact analysis first, then only edit. You need to understand where are all the places this is going to impact. Okay, but definitely, to in just one line answer, you will not be able to put any kind of restriction in using or editing calculated field, with any specific calculated field.
okay.
Okay, so yeah, that's the thing. Now here, one thing you can do is, let's say you are creating a report specific field. If you don't see, you need any calculated field for your report purpose, and you don't want anyone to use that calculated field anywhere else. Okay, then you create a report specific calculated field that cannot be used in any integration and all. That will be specific to the report only. Okay, when you create any system wide calculated field, it will be visible by anyone. Like when we are creating the report, and when I'm trying to add fields, you can see a lot of calculated fields are appearing, right? So those calculated fields are not created by me, those fields were created by someone else. I have access to these two domains, that is why I'm able to access those calculated fields as well.
Yeah, understood.
Okay, so yeah, now maintain calculated field. The next thing is create report specific. So I'm just showing today only how to create a report specific calculated field, and then we'll talk about the calculated field functions in the upcoming sessions. Okay, from Monday, actually, I'm gonna talk about the calculated field functions and all. Okay, so today I'm just showing you how to create a system-wide calculated field and how to create a report specific calculated field. So if you need to create a system-wide calculated field, you simply type create calculated field. You will get an option create calculated field. Click on that. Give the calculated field name. Generally, you start with CF. Also, you give the prefix or your name. Let's say I'm just using Ganesh, and whatever the whatever function you want to do using this calculated field. Let's say I want first string, first char of first name. Okay, then use the give the function name. So let's say I need to use substring. I'm gonna use function substring on whatever business object you are going to create. Some, let's say I'm giving worker business object. I understand you did not understand why what I just said, but here if you see, there are three options you have. One is a field name. Give the field name here, whatever name you are going to give. Workday is going to create calculated field with that name. Now here, when you create any calculated field, you need to provide the business object name, like in which table, in which business object you want to create the field. So let's say I want to create a calculated field on worker business object. So I just gave worker as a business object. This is a worker business object, and function. There are many functions in calculated field. We are going to talk approximately 20 of these functions. All these are functions. Okay, all these are functions. So let's say I'm using substring. For example, I'm using substring. Then click on OK. When I click on OK, the calculated field will be created. And then I can do the configurations. So all these configurations will be based on the different functions you are going to choose while creating a calculated field. Okay, so this is how we create a calculated field. We will talk about the calculated field functions tomorrow. Now another thing is report specific calculated field. So for system wide, let me mention here, create calculated related field. Now I'm opening any report. Let's say view custom report. Let me use this one. Come on. Yeah, so in this one, if you need to create, you can just click on related action. Here you can see one option, calculated field for report. Now here you can just click on create calculated field. When you will click, this will be a report specific calculated field. So report name it is giving the name of the field like I did in create calculated field, the name, the way I gave the name, you can give the name. You can select the business object on whatever business object you want to create. Here, the business object is already there, primary business object. That's why it automatically detected. And then function, whatever function you want to select. Okay, so this is how we create a report specific calculated field. So to create a report specific calculated field, custom report related action calculated field for report, and then create calculated field. Okay, so this is how we create a calculated field for report.